Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be continuing What If Zeldris Was Naruto. I really do hope I'm not butchering this man's name. Um so we left off with last time I checked. Yeah, we left off with Naruto telling Sakura like to fight, like she could fight all she wanted in tuning exams. I also want to point something out. The dude that asked me to do this What If, he gave me a little bit of insight. So I'm gonna say he's only to make two. Naruto's only able to make two like dollar store versions of the Ten Commandments, and I'm gonna say the only thing that differs between the ones that he had, the one that that Zeldris is gonna make in this universe, is that they don't have those same restrictions as they do in the Seven Deadly Sins. So like, and there's also like the girl. I'm gonna let y'all know, the girl, the other sin that the commandment that I'm gonna use. She's not gonna turn into a snake. I don't remember her commandment or her name, but she walks around in like the weird her dark stuff, like the dark magic or whatever, and she walks around in that, and she's able to turn into a snake. But I don't want the person I'm gonna make her transform into a snake, because of the fact that I don't want another Orochimaru running around. I'm sorry, I don't like Orochimaru. I like snakes, but Orochimaru ruins snakes for Naruto for me. It's like Naruto and snakes, I don't like. No. So instead of that, she's just going to be able to constantly, like, her poison, depending on how much you can absorb, like how much your body absorbs, it can kill you, it can paralyze you, it can make you blind, it can make you deaf, you can lose touch, feelings, things like that. Like, yeah, depending on how much she uses and how much you inhale, or how much comes in contact with you. So Naruto, like, yeah. So Naruto, I'm gonna say like the week passed in the tuning exams. I think it was like a week or 2 days. I don't necessarily remember what I said, but I'm gonna say the tuning exams start, and Gaara, he goes through with the plan. So Naruto and Gaara start fighting, but before that, Tamari told Naruto he should not fight Gaara, and Naruto asks why, and she basically tells like Naruto, Gaara's been acting aggressive toward you, and when someone mentions your name or anything like that, he gets aggressive and tells them that he's gonna kill you. And Naruto laughs and was like, "That's funny, Naruto. He wouldn't do that. Like, we're best pals," and things like that. And I'm gonna say Sakura was like, "Yeah, and if he does kill Naruto, I'm gonna kill him. Simple." And I'm gonna say Naruto pulls Sakura off to the side and tell her what's about to happen. But Sakura is still opposed to Naruto getting a spear made out of sand to go through his body. But yeah, so I'm gonna say like every fight is canon. The only difference is that Rock Lee goes against Kiba and Gaara goes against Naruto, obviously. So Naruto, fuck. So Naruto gets like, I'm gonna say like, it's not right. It's if y'all wondering, I don't think y'all know like who won that fight between Rock Lee and Kiba. Like, let's be honest here. Like, come on. Anyway, so Gaara and Naruto's fight begins, and I'm gonna say everything is like. At first, like, Tamari's like, okay, everything seems to be fine. Naruto seems to be handling himself. Then I'm gonna say like 2 minutes into the fight, Naruto gets what is it called? Sand spear through his chest, and I'm gonna say it like it breaks Tamari basically. The same thing that happened to Sakura happens to her, and Naruto sees this and knows when she's in this state, she can see and react. Like, she can see everything, but she's not gonna react to anything. So he looks towards Sakura and ushers and tells Sakura to get Tamari and go. So Sakura grabs Tamari and just leaves the tuning exams. I'm gonna say Kakashi raises an eyebrow to this, but he doesn't like. He was like, "Wait a minute, okay, I guess." So everybody's getting ready to like run down there and restrain Gaara until Gaara releases and notices that Naruto's standing back up. And when they look at Naruto, I'm gonna say like the black magic or whatever it's called. They call it dark chakra in this universe. The dark chakra is in the hole, and so is like the Karama chakra, and it's melding together and healing him. And I'm gonna say like everybody, this catches everybody off guard, including Gaara himself. And he was like, "Wait a minute, so you did all of this and you can heal?" And he said, "Yep." And Naruto was like, "Okay." Well, no, Gaara was like, "Okay. So does this mean I won?" And he was like, "Nope. Now you gotta fight me for real." And Gaara was like, "This is so unfair. Like, I got my sand defense, but like this man can literally regenerate from mortal wounds. Like, I literally just threw a spear through this man's body. How the fuck is he still alive?" But anyway, so Gaara gets like back into like his little fighting mode stance, whatever. Who cares? And I'm gonna say Naruto pulls out the staff, like the scalpel thing of like the sword that he has. The scalpel, I think that's what it's called. I don't remember, but yeah, he pulls out that and he infuses it with like wind chakra, so now it moves faster. And when it hits people, it, depending on how hard he hit them, it's enforced with wind, so it moves quicker. Yeah. So say Gaara start launching sand at him, and Naruto's moving out the way relatively easily. And then Naruto was like, "Okay, I'm tired of this." And I'm gonna say he hits Gaara, like he disappears from everyone's point of view, and I'm gonna say including Gaara's. And I'm gonna say Kakashi was like, "And here he goes," and he like hits Gaara in the back of the head, like toward like his neck area. But Naruto notices that Gaara has a second layer of sand protecting his body, like it's like this hard caked on sand. So Naruto, so Zeldris was like, "That's a good idea, but I don't have time for that." So I'm gonna say before Gaara could react, Naruto hit him like 4 different times in the same spot, which ultimately knocks him out. And can't nobody tell me different, because this nigga cut fucking Meliodas' arm off in a matter of fucking seconds. That's compared to Gaara, Meliodas is a god. Anyway, so I just had to get that off my chest. Like, their fight's over, and before like anybody, like, they address Naruto as the winner, and then he just disappears out the arena. And I'm gonna say, when Naruto like gets to, Tamari and Sakura, I'm gonna say Tamari, like, no, not Tamari, Sakura was like, well, Sakura's mad at Naruto because like she thought Naruto was playing, but Naruto wasn't. So I'm gonna say Naruto sped up the process by actually manifesting the chakra through his body and putting it inside of her as he asks her the questions. And after all of that, I'm gonna say, a little cloak of darkness surrounds Tamari, and now she's the snake girl type deal. And when Tamari comes to, she realizes, like, Naruto, like, you're supposed to be dead. Like, how are you still alive? And Naruto, he doesn't tell her what he did, but he basically tells her, like, Gaara was just did me a favor, which basically implies that was all set up by Naruto. So, the first thing that she does with her newfound power is poison Naruto. Or, Zeldris. More precisely, she poisons him to where he can't see or hear. And, like, he can feel anything, but, like, and smell, but he can't hear or see anything. I definitely said he could hear, didn't I? I think I said he could hear. You know what I mean? Like, he can smell and touch, but he can't hear or see. So I'm gonna say Gaara hits the corner, and Naruto bumps into Gaara. And he was trying to talk to Gaara. Gaara's trying to talk to Naruto. But Naruto couldn't see or hear him. He can only, like, touch. So when, like, he grabs Sakura, and he knows that it's Sakura. Because I'm gonna say Sakura's muscles are just a little bit more defined than this. Even though they're children. Let's be yeah. So yeah, that's what's going on here. And in order for Naruto, like, I'm gonna say Tamari looks at Gaara and was like, oh yeah, he can't hear or see you right now. And Gaara was like, what do you mean? He's in front of me. And Tamari's like, no, I used the power that he gave me to blind him, and now he's deaf as well. And she's like, Gaara was like, can you reverse the effects? And she was like, yeah, I can. But not for a little while. So Naruto, for like a half hour, was roaming around the village completely blind and deaf. So anybody could do or say anything to him, and he couldn't be, like, he would only be able to touch and smell things. So, this leads to some pretty interesting altercations. So I'm gonna say, let's say that Rock Lee was walking past, and he notices Naruto, and Naruto's like, I can't. Rock Lee walks up to Naruto and was like, I can't wait to our fight in the finals of the tuning exams. And Naruto can't hear him. Like, he was walking off in the other direction, and Rock Lee was like, is he just ignoring me? Like, why does he have his eyes closed? And Naruto basically telepathically talks to Tamari and was like, bro, if you don't stop, please. Like, I need to see and talk. And she was like, just a few more seconds. And I'm going to say Tsunade was in the village just for the satisfaction of being in the village, because she wanted to know what this Naruto kid was actually about. So I'm going to say he bumps into Tsunade. And when he was touching around, he grabbed her chest. And then Tamari's like, okay, now I'll do it. And I'm going to say he opens his eyes, and the first thing that he sees is Tsunade looking down at him. And I'm going to say, like, Sakura, like, basically palms her head and was like, did you really have to do that? I mean, I was mad at him too, but that was just so uncalled for. And Tamari's like, shut up. And yeah, so also neither will Sakura won't be able to transform into that thing that that other girl was able to transform into. If y'all know what sin that is, not sin, commandment. Anyway, so Naruto, like, before she could react, I'm gonna say Naruto just disappeared. And just, like, by the time Tamari turned around, Naruto was standing there, and Naruto was fuming. Like, you can visibly see the anger on his face. But, like, he disappeared and then came back and was like in the most calmest of tones, basically told this to Tamari. The next time you think you can blind me and make me deaf and make me walk all around the village, I will hurt you in the most brutal way possible. You are too valuable to me for you to die, but I will hurt you mentally and possibly physically. And I'm gonna say Tamari's like, how? And he's like, oh, well, physically I could just make you train with Sakura. And I'm gonna say Tamari turns around and sees Sakura, like, holding her fist, like, oh yeah, I'm looking for a training partner. And I'm gonna say she was like, well, and how are you gonna do that mentally? He was like, and I'm gonna say Naruto was like, don't worry about that. Just know, it could be one of those. Don't try me. And I'm gonna say she scoffs at him, and Naruto's like, okay. But watch this. It's gonna be one of them days. So the force of death part when Sasuke gets bit by Orochimaru. That does still happen. Yes, indeed it does. But in the middle of Orochimaru biting Sasuke, well, first I gotta get everybody in there. Yeah. So what happened is, instead of I literally just remembered her name a couple of minutes ago, and now I can't remember her shit. Shit. It's not Conan. No. That girl that got bit a lot when she was with Orochimaru. I can't remember her fucking name. Instead of Sasuke running into her, it was Naruto, aka Zeldris. And Zeldris took out her team and took their scroll. Noticed her and was like, hey, make a good hidden leaf shinobi. She come with me. And before she can answer, I'm gonna say Naruto grabbed her and disappeared. And when Naruto came back, like when she realized what Naruto was doing, like by the time she could say anything, I'm gonna say she was surrounded with, well, not surrounded, but she was in front of Tamari and Sakura. And actually, I lied. There is gonna be one more, and it's gonna be Karin. Yes. It's gonna be Karin, and Karin is gonna have the love commandment, I think, with the dude with the swords that was Meliodas' brother. So yeah, she's gonna be not OP, but OP at the same time. So I'm gonna say Naruto, like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but Sakura, can you put her underneath a genjutsu? And like, this is all happening in the middle. This is why Sasuke got bit, because Sasuke was like off by himself because he didn't want to be around Naruto, Tamari, and Sakura. Not because of the reasons that you think. The only reason why he didn't want to be around them at the time was because that he knew Naruto was trying to recruit somebody else, and he was kind of mad that he couldn't get a seal himself, well, a tag himself. So yeah, he was off by his lonesome, which is why he got bit by Orochimaru. And Sakura puts her underneath a genjutsu and watches, and she basically watches over and over the people that wronged her in the past, doing the same thing over and over again. By the time the genjutsu releases, Karin is already screwed up in the head. So Naruto basically speeds up the process, and she comes to, and now she has a tag. She asks Naruto, "What's that? Like, what's this? And what is this power I'm feeling?" And Naruto was like, "Oh, so you got, well, Zeldris." He was like, "Well, everyone calls me Naruto, but these two call me Zeldris, so you should do the same." And I'm gonna say Karin like hesitates for a bit. I was like, "Okay, Zeldris." And I'm gonna say Sasuke Naruto sensed Sasuke's chakra like skyrocket and then disappear. And I'm gonna say Sakura and Karin and Tamari senses it. But the only person that Naruto sends after Sasuke is not Karin, but Tamari and Sakura, because Naruto still gotta make sure like she can control the powers that she just got. So Naruto asks her, like, "Can you summon them?" And I'm gonna say at first Karin was like, "I don't know what you're talking about," and she was like, "Wait, I think I kind of do." And she summons the swords, and Naruto's like, "There it is." And her, like, I'm gonna say her strength and stuff gets amplified, like her speed and everything, just to like make her match up with the rest. If y'all noticing, I'm finna make these dudes a fucking bomb squad. Anyway, so yeah, they get him back in the, like, I'm gonna say Orochimaru gets caught by those two, and in the middle of that, I'm gonna say Tamari tells Sakura, like, don't worry about that person. We need to get Sasuke back to Naruto. And I'm gonna say Sakura's like, nah, he looks strong. I wanna fight him. and um basically it was a huge game of cat and mouse. Now naturally Orochimaru wouldn't be scared, but when you see a 12-year-old bloodlusted maniac running at you with shadow hands, let's see who would run. So I'm gonna say Orochimaru was like, I don't know what the fuck that is on her head and what's on her hands and feet, but I don't want no smoke. And he just really just ditches, like, just nope. So yeah, that happens. And I'm gonna say Danzo was watching the whole thing, and Danzo tries to recreate what Naruto's doing to them, to a couple of Anbu members. And since it's not since it's not Zeldris himself doing it, it kills the Anbu members like halfway through it. Like, they don't get any special abilities or anything, and they don't, like, basically what happens is Danzo's creating more of the energy than it needs to be, and instead of it going out into the air, it's getting absorbed into Naruto and the other four, which is gonna lead to them having unlocked all, like, their full version of their powers. So Naruto at this point was like, well, Karin, you're a Hidden Leaf Shinobi now, and so is Tamari, and Sakura was already one, and so was I, so welcome to my team. And I'm gonna say Karin was like, wait a minute, hold on, you can't just, like, take me away from where. And Naruto looks at her and was like, were you truly happy when you were over there getting bit constantly on a day-to-day basis, just because you were Uzumaki and just because you're, like, blood held people? And Naruto's like, or better yet, you're gonna stay with the same village that you know kind of your mom? And this catches Karin off guard, and she basically summons the swords and tells Naruto to take it back, and he was like, no, I'm not going to. And she was like, what do you mean you're not going to? You can't just outright and say that to people. And I'm gonna say Sakura gets back before them, and I'm gonna say Sakura gets back before Tamari, because Tamari was carrying Sasuke. No, I'm gonna say Tamari gets back before Sakura, because Sakura was carrying Sasuke, because Sakura's the more athletic one out of the two right now. Well, always, because Tamari is gonna basically just become some overpowered poison user. Anyway, so basically, like, Sakura, like, Tamari gets there and she's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And I'm gonna say, what is her name again? Karin was like, what do you mean? And Tamari was like, what you're about to do, what you're going to attempt to do, I would not advise it at all, not in the slightest. And I'm gonna say, Naruto, like, you really need to listen to her, cause the other one ain't that nice. And I'm gonna say Sakura gets back there, and when she sees I keep forgetting her name. I can't remember her name. Anyway, what she sees what she's about to do, I'm gonna say she puts down Sasuke, and, like, basically she basically makes her hand into, like, the dark energy, which is always in there, but, like, she makes it sharp, and she basically holds it to her throat, and she was like, I would hate to have to lose a fellow friend, but you're kind of threatening the person that made me what I am, the person that made me strong, so either you stop, or I'm gonna just have to slit your throat, and we can find another host for this power that you have. And I'm gonna say she, like, puts it, like, she stops. There it goes. Karin stops, and if y'all thinking that's, like, just a gimmick that I do, no, I actually do forget their names, and that's most of the time because I have not a short-term memory, but I do forget a lot of things. So yeah. Anyway, so like Karin stops and she's like, fine. And Naruto's like, there we go. I do apologize for doing that. I know how it feels to lose family, and I especially know how it feels to lose family and then have to bear the burden of being around the things and people that made you lose your family. And Naruto, and I'm gonna say Karin's like, what are you talking about? And I'm gonna say Sakura lets her know that like Naruto's kind of like the Nine Tails Tsuchidiki and things like that. So I'm gonna say instead of Kakashi sealing, like taking the seal off Sasuke, I'm gonna say Naruto tells Sasuke like that seal's pretty strong. You should keep it for now, cause you know you can't get a tag. So yeah, and I'm gonna say Sasuke was like, oh, I was gonna keep it regardless. Anything to keep up with y'all freaks of nature. And I'm gonna say Karin turns around. I was like, that's a little hurtful given the fact that you know you just met me. And Sasuke is like, yeah, that's right. I don't know you, so why would that be hurtful? It doesn't affect me in any way. And I'm gonna say Karin was like, that's just like the meanest shit I've ever heard from anybody. He's pretty cool. And I'm gonna say in the middle of all of that, like not Kakashi, but Lord Third himself, like basically announced that the Chunin exams, like that part of the Chunin exams are over with. And I'm gonna say Naruto kind of like takes his special 3 to the Hokage's office to tell the Hokage like, yo, I'ma probably need to make my own squad. And Lord Third was like, so what's going on? Why are these 3 here? And why do they all look like they have something similar to you? Well, I know of the first one, Sakura. I'm gonna say Sakura was like, well, I'm still waiting for my fight, Hiruzen, and you're not about that action right now. So I'm gonna wait, but the day you got that action is the day we throw hands. I'm gonna say Naruto looked toward her and was like, you will get shit on if you try to go against the third Hokage. Like, let's not do this here. Like, I really don't feel like seeing you get beat on. And I'm gonna say, like in the midst of that, oh, I don't give a fuck. Anyway, so Naruto basically was like, well, just like to point out the fact that these 3 have special abilities, and I gave them. And Lord Third was like, well, can you explain? And Naruto was like, okay. Karin here can summon dark chakra swords, which can cut through and pierce anything. And Sakura has monstrous strength and speed, and she's, for some mysterious reason, highly aggressive all the time. And Tamari here, she can make poison that can literally do anything to the human body that she desires it to. And depending on how much comes in contact with you, depending on if you stay alive. And I'm gonna say Hiruzen was like, this isn't even like a Joan, like, is this even like a Genin squad? This is like an Anbu type squad. And he was like, well, I'm gonna say Danzo comes into the room, was like, exactly my point. Like, they should join the Anbu. And I'm gonna say Naruto looks at him and was like, oh, I see what's going on here. And I'm gonna say, before Danzo even say anything, I'm gonna say Naruto was like, nah, I'm good. And I'm gonna say Danzo gets like, you know, just a little agitated. Like, what do you mean you're good? Like, we can use your, like, the Hidden Leaf could use your skills, their skills, and abilities, and you guys would be great for the Anbu. We need people like y'all. And I'm gonna say that Sakura was like, well, if he meant he's good, he's good. And Karin still new to things, but, you know, she's like, yeah, he said he's good. Like, we don't need your assistance. We were chilling. And This makes Danzo a little frustrated, and I'm gonna say Hiruzen steps in and was like, yeah, they're good. You can leave now. And at this point in time, Danzo already got it in his head. If he can't, like, if they're not willingly joining the Anbu so he can do experiments on them or whatever, he's going to force them to join the Anbu one way or the other. Yeah, so I'm going to say, also, and if you're wondering if the Chrono Crush arc thing is still going, yeah, I'm going to say this is how it starts. Danzo comes into contact with Orochimaru. They were in contact for a little while, but they just got in contact because Orochimaru wanted to know what that girl was and what the other one was, and Danzo tells him, and he was like, so this Naruto kid seems to be interesting. And now we're just gonna go to Naruto's perspective, or Kane's perspective, more or less. So she calls Naruto, and then Naruto looks toward her and was like, what did I literally tell you, like, when we were in the forest of death? And she's like, my fault, Zeldris. And I'm gonna say Naruto's like, excellent. And I'm gonna say, they're right now, they're just chilling in the house, because I'm gonna say, the tuning exams got postponed because of Danzo's little outburst and Hiruzen having suspicions that Danzo's, talking with Orochimaru. And I'm gonna say, just for, the sake of it, Tsunade's still in the village, and I'm gonna say, Hiruzen called, basically ordered one of his, Anbu members to go get, what the fuck is his name? Jiraiya boy. Anyway, so, yeah. So Jiraiya is, I'm gonna say it was postponed for 2 days, which is exactly the amount of time it would take Jiraiya to get to the village from where he was. So Jiraiya gets to the village, and, everyone's fine, and I'm gonna say, within those 2 days, Karin gets a hold of things. She gets her boundaries, and she accepts the fact that she's no longer, just some tool that to be used by, her fellow people, basically. Her, whatever the fuck village she was a part of. Anyway, so, I'm gonna say Karin can, she can shoot the swords, and she can hold the swords and things like that. But, in the, what is it? Oh, yeah, in those 2 days, I'm gonna say Karin and Sakura train a little bit. Karin does get beat up a little bit, and Sakura does get scratched up a little bit, a lot. Not scratched, but, pierced and things like that. And I'm gonna say Naruto. Naruto basically lets them fight, kind of for his own enjoyment, because he likes to see Sakura gets frustrated because she keeps getting stabbed. And Tamari heals way faster than Sakura just because, her blood thing, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so, and if y'all wondering what Tamari's doing in all of this, I'm going to say Tamari's calling Naruto, basically telling him he's ruling like a king and he's being barbaric and things like that. Because, he's basically using them to fight for his own amusement. And Naruto looks up at Tamari and was like, you find this to be funny too, so wouldn't that technically make you a queen then? And she looks at Naruto and was like, well, you're not wrong, but I'm not a queen. And she looks away, and Naruto looks at him, oh, okay, you're still mad. Well, I'm gonna, yeah. And he was like, well, I'm just gonna go. And I'm gonna say Sakura, this is how their fights usually end. It's either Sakura gives up because she's tired of Karin healing, or Tamari gives up because she's, because Sakura becomes relentless after a little while. Holy shit, this room's getting colder. So Naruto, at this point, was like, y'all should really not try to get that much attention. And she was like, I'm gonna say Connie was like, but why? And Sakura basically tells her that's because Naruto is not liked in the village at all. He when Naruto was younger, when he was born more or less, a dark explosion happened and Naruto was at the center of it and it killed like I'm gonna say the chakra that Zeldris infused into the body that he's in now, Naruto's body, caused a whole bunch of the dark chakra when it absorbed into him. Like the chakra that Naruto originally had exploded into dark chakra, then got it reabsorbed back into back into Zeldris. And in the middle of all of that, the only people that really survived was the people with bigger chakra pools. So that means like little kids and elderly people didn't survive the explosion. So Naruto was beloved because he was the fourth Hokage's son, but he was hated for what, that they did. So basically he was the black sheep of the Hidden Leaf Village. And then the Nine Tails attack happened and now he's the owner of the Nine Tails, so now everybody really don't like him. So he's basically considered, Naruto's nickname around the village is the Black Tails, basically. So, or the Dark Tails, whichever one y'all prefer. So, like, Connie was like, well, Zeldris isn't anything like that, as far as I can tell. And Zeldris confirms one thing, that explosion did happen because of him. And the Nine Tails attack was not his fault, but everybody claims it to be my fault. So, yeah, I'm hated throughout the village, as far as I can tell. And I'm gonna say Naruto opens the door. Like, I'm gonna say they were fighting in the backyard, and Hiruzen gave them a specific, like, not out of the bounds of the Hidden Leaf Village, but, like, around the Hidden Leaf Village, like, outside of the area, like, the wall area. There's, like, this field, and in the field there's a house, and the house is, like, kind of connected to the Hidden Leaf Village by a smaller wall. And that's all, like, that's where Naruto lives. And, like, in that wall, there's a huge field where they constant, like, Sakura and I keep forgetting their fucking name. Yeah, or Sakura and Kage fight. So, in the, y'all you see that? In the middle of, like, their fighting, Naruto leaves, and I'm gonna say Sakura. Well, yeah, basically everything that I just said happened. And Naruto opens the door to see big old man, just a big old man in the door. And lo and behold, it's Jiraiya boy. So, in the middle of all of that, Jiraiya basically grabs Naruto, and Naruto was like, why? Why now? And I'm gonna say, Tamari was like, who is the old man? And Sakura was like, oh, that's Naruto's, I guess you can say, godfather? Basically, Naruto's dad was trained by him. Fuck, y'all ever stub y'all toe or something, like, in the middle of the night, in the dark? Like, that shit hurts. I know y'all have. Y'all can't tell me y'all haven't. Anyway, so, like, in the middle of all of that, I would say Kage was like, well, he's a little too close, and it doesn't look like Naruto's having a nice time. So she summons the swords, and Jiraiya looks behind him and sees, just a whole bunch of people cloaked in darkness. The only person that isn't cloaked in darkness is Tamari, because as far as I'm concerned, they can manifest swings, but the dude himself that has the ability that I gave Tamari does not cloak himself in darkness, as far as I'm concerned. The only person that does that is the one that I gave Tamari to. So Sakura, if you're wondering, is kind of like the girl in Seven Deadly Sins, where darkness covers almost every aspect of her body besides her stomach and other like her back and things like that. So yeah, now you guys can have that image sitting in your head. Yeah, so anyway, Jiraiya was like, wait a minute, and he notices like all of them have like the same thing that Naruto has on his face, and Naruto kind of explains it, and Jiraiya was like, so that's why it feels like the chakra's like gone almost, and he's like, yeah, Naruto told like, yeah, that's basically what happened, but every once in a while there's a gradual spike in it because of someone keeps trying to redo what I do. But don't think it does is make me and my fellow friends here, my elite squadron, my little executioners here stronger because of the fact that we just absorb it right off the bat, which means that there's no excess of it just lingering around and lingering about. And he was like, oh, interesting indeed. So how about, you try to learn the Rasengan? And Zeldris was like, nah, not right now. We gotta go finish the tuning exams. And yeah, they start like Jiraiya basically not escorts them, but walks them to the tuning exams, kind of. So when they get there, Karin realizes that she actually has to fight, and the person she has to fight is Sasuke. And I hate to do this to Sasuke's pride. Psych ass. Karin getting her little ass beat on. Even with the abilities and powers and strength and speed that she has now, I'm not just gonna disrespect Sasuke like that. Like, that's the homie. Y'all can't. No. If y'all thought I was really finna let Sasuke lose to Karin, even with the abilities, nah, fam, nah. She got her abilities 2 days ago. Sasuke's been training his entire life, fam. Well, 3 days ago technically. Sasuke's been training his entire life, fam. All his life he had to fight. Okay, I'm done. But yeah, Karin loses that fight. Naruto basically tells Karin like, yeah, you obviously have a lot of training left to do. And Naruto Karin knows, like, if he doesn't train with Sakura, she has to train with Naruto. And when Naruto trains Sakura, it looks pretty brutal because Naruto doesn't hold his strength back. Like, he doesn't hold anything back, and he hits Sakura with all he has. And when Sakura gets hit, she goes flying. And I'm gonna say, like, in the middle of thought, I'm gonna say Tamari was like, don't worry, he's not gonna hit you as hard as Sakura. Sakura's hard-headed. And guess who Sakura gets to fight this go round? Sakura gets to fight Rock Lee. Yes. Anyway, so Rock Lee still obviously has that weird ass crush on Sakura, as far as I'm aware of. So at first he's like discrediting Sakura. Like, I won't, go, like, I'll go easy because you're a girl. And I'm gonna say this makes Sakura mad. And I'm gonna say Naruto looks down, like, tells Sakura, like, maybe you should go all out. And Lee, maybe you should too, because if you don't, you might die. And I'm gonna say Lee was like, nah, that's it, preposterous. And Naruto's like, okay, you're a funeral kid. And the match starts, and Rock Lee gets in a stance. He's like, come on, Sakura, because as far as everyone else is concerned, only people that actually seen Sakura fight was, like, when she fought, no, I don't know the fuck her name is, Sakura didn't use the abilities that she has, because it's basically pretty easy. The only thing that she did was maneuver her long enough for her to get tired and then just fall on the floor. So that's the only thing that everyone's ever really seen from Sakura. So, Lee still thinks, Sakura's still that little girl. And boys, he's sadly mistaken. he basically tells her to come on, and he looks away and looks back, and Sakura's in front of his face. And I'm gonna say he looks away for like a split, like 1 second or two to look at Naruto, and he sees Naruto face palming, and I'm gonna say Sakura's like, "Your wish is my command," and she smacks him into the, and she literally just roundhouse kicks him into the wall, and I'm gonna say Guy was like, um, 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 for Kakashi, like he licks his lip. He was like, "Bro, what is your team? like what is that? What was that? Tell me right now." And I'm gonna say Kakashi was like, "Yeah, I'm used to this shit by now," and nah, cause I'm gonna say Kakashi already know how to fight from the turnout. Lee takes off his weights and they hit the ground, and I'm gonna say Sakura was like, "Ooh, that's a little bit intimidating," and Lee is forced to go into the first gate. But sadly enough, I'm gonna say Lee doesn't have full mastery over the first gate, so Sakura takes the win here. And if y'all wondering what happened to Hinata and Neji, Hinata whooped that man's ass. The only downside is that Neji, like, yeah. No, I'm gonna say Tamari has to fight Hinata. Yeah. So I forgot who I said Naruto had to fight. I don't recall. Yeah. Anyway, so well, I'm gonna say Naruto has to fight some just random shinobi from, I'm gonna say, the Hidden Leaf Village that's supposedly stronger than Naruto. That's what everybody hypes him up to be. So Naruto, I'm gonna call him Tom. Yeah, I'm gonna call this shinobi Tom. No. So in the middle of Sakura in the fight, I'm gonna say Naruto, like, basically face palming, and he looks up when Lee uses the first gate, and Guy was like, "No, you don't have mastery over it," and it kind of, like, Naruto can kind of sense his, not his chakra pool getting low, but basically like his life force starting to dwindle away. So he basically contacts Sakura through like the little telekinetic wave path thing that they're able to use. And he basically tells Sakura, like, you need to put this man out of his misery. Like, stop playing around. Knock him out. And I'm going to say Sakura gets serious. And Rock Lee was like, wait a minute. What? But before he can even react, I'm going to say Sakura is behind him. And she kicked him again, but this time with way more force. And he just fell out on the floor. Like, she kicked him hard enough to where he didn't move at all. Like, it was just a big old wind gust and then him just on the floor. And no, he's not dead. He's just incapacitated. Man. So, the Tamari... Damn, it's 3? Fuck. Tamari, basically, it's Tamari and Hinata's turn to fight. And I'm going to say Hinata was like, oh, so you must be, Naruto's choice to accept, like, that power. And Tamari was like, wait, what are you talking about? And she's like, oh, I was the second option if you, failed. And I'm going to say it makes Tamari mad. And she looks up at Naruto, and Naruto kind of looks away like, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Definitely don't know what the fuck she's talking about. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. And I'm gonna say she used the wave link, and Naruto kind of just keep like, she's like, Zeldris, the fuck. And Naruto's still ignoring her, and she's like, bro, I know you can hear me. Okay, be like that then. So the fight starts, and the first thing that Tamari does is cover the ring in poison. And by the time the poison clears up, Hinata's on the floor. And there's a reason why. First off, even the rotation, like the wind, like the rotation, the 8 trigrams rotation thing, wasn't going to be able to stop that poison. Because first off, that takes chakra. Second of all, The longer she did it, meaning the more that she was going to get tired, meaning the more that she was going to be susceptible to the poison. So either way it goes, Sakura, Hinata wasn't winning that fight. Y'all can debate it in the comments or argue with me later on it in Discord. Hinata most damn well was not winning that fight, whether she liked it or not, whether y'all liked it or not. So this time it's Naruto's turn, and Naruto has to fight the rando shinobi, Tom. And I'm gonna say everyone in the village is cheering for Tom, and Naruto was like, okay, see what's going on here. Y'all want him to beat me. Y'all think that if he can beat me, he's stronger and smarter than me. I see how it is. And Naruto basically like interrupts their cheering. Was like, I gotta make a deal with you, Hidden Leaf people. If he can't beat me, if I just mop the floor with him, y'all have to each and every last one of y'all give me a valid reason for why y'all don't like me. And they all be quiet, and they were like as if you're ever gonna be Tom. And Tom was like, well, let's just everyone take that into consideration. Like, he actually beats me. And everybody starts laughing, and he was like, yeah, in your dreams. And Naruto was like, okay, y'all wanna play it that way. And I'm gonna say Sakura was like, man, listen, if Naruto just gave me the word, I'll damn near kill everybody in this arena. And Naruto looked at her and was like, no, we are still Hidden Leaf Shinobi. No, you won't. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't want to risk me taking your life. And yeah. So Naruto, this is basically what's happened. The fight begins, and Naruto unsheathes the sword, not like the scalpel thing, because I'm gonna say Tom was relentless, not bullied Naruto, but like Tom relentlessly tormented Naruto for the fact of not having, a family, and the fact that, the Nine Tails, was inside of him and things like that, and he had to watch his mom die. And Naruto unsheathes his sword, and when he unsheathes it, I'm gonna say Tom pulls out a knife. Let me take a drink of water real quick. That's good. I'm gonna say Tom pulls out a kunai, and I was like, oh, so you're using your mommy's sword? And Naruto's like, I'd hate to have to cut you in half, so I'm gonna need you to refrain from using my mom's name in vain, or I would treat you like you are a random shinobi in a battlefield, and I'm gonna cut you in half in front of your friends and family. And I'm gonna say Tom was like, you're not gonna do that. Like, you can't do that. You're not stronger than me. And Naruto's like, I'm gonna give you one more chance to apologize and refrain from using my mother's name in vain. And, well, my mother is like, yeah, in vain. And I'm gonna say he does it like one more time. Like, and then before he can even say it, Naruto's him yelling like behind him. And everyone's like, wait a minute. How did he get there? And Tom falls on the floor. There's bleeding coming from his waist. So the shinobi, like the Jonin that's down there, he goes down there and he sees that, oh, this man is cut clean in half. But see, Naruto used a sword, but what he did was he made it so where he didn't actually get cut in half, but he used like a wind thing to go through his body and just cut his organs and not cut his skin. So basically what happened was there's a huge little bruise going through his entire waist, but he's still in parts. Like, Naruto technically cut his insides in half and not him in half. So dude is sitting there like he's no longer alive. There's no one here he's surviving. And I'm gonna say the third was like, wait a minute, I can't sense his chakra. I'm gonna need y'all to get Naruto. And I'm gonna say the three appear in front of Naruto. Naruto's like, well, yeah. And then Gaara just starts wilding out. Like, he just turns into the one-tail state and everything, and he just starts going crazy. And one more sip of water. You gotta stay hydrated during these. Gaara just starts flipping out. And I'm gonna say Naruto's like, oh. Okay. I'm gonna say Jiraiya, like, he's shocked at Naruto's, like, displays of aggression and his pure power and strength. And he was like, well, if Naruto can do that, and, you know, we seen what the other two can do, but we didn't get to see, because what from Naruto was basically saying, Kari, and I'm gonna say Naruto fully addressed them all. He was like, Kari hasn't even unlocked her full potential, or even grasped her full abilities yet, so we can only speculate with her. And he snaps back into reality and notices that the Shukaku's going insane. And Naruto notices that there's an extra seal on Gaara's body, and that seal was made by Orochimaru. And excuse me. Naruto basically, like, gestures to Lord Third, and Third jumps down there, and then Orochimaru appears, and they start fighting. And since the Third doesn't lose his life because Tsunade and Jiraiya is in the village, but Orochimaru does have to run away when he finds out that Jiraiya and Tsunade is in the village. Because first off, Tsunade has monstrous strength, and Jiraiya was, I wouldn't say above Orochimaru. Actually, that is very much debatable. Which one of them was stronger? Was it Orochimaru or was it Jiraiya? Like, can we stop and think about that for a minute? I want somebody to, yeah. Somebody that's in my Discord, let me know. Or if y'all not in the Discord, let me know in the comment section. I'm gonna make an Instagram for this account, like for my YouTube stuff. That way, if y'all got Instagram, y'all can follow me on that, and I could just make a group with that, and y'all could just talk to me off there. But it'll be better if y'all join my Discord, because that way I don't gotta make no extra emails and things like that. So, yeah, help me out. Go and follow me on Discord. Simple stuff. Anyway, so Gaara, in the middle of his wilding out, notices Tamari. And he looks at Tamari, and he's been like in his head, like, she's just changed so much. And Tamari, not in her head, but basically out loud, she's like, oh, sorry about this, Gaara. And she just shoots a ton of poison at him. And when he wakes up, he's in the hospital. Like, he's in the Hidden Leaf hospital. With, Sand Shinobi and the Kazekage around him. Because I'm going to say the Hidden Leaf village and Sand Village has a truce now. Because of, what happened in the earlier parts. So, I'm going to say Tamari was there. And Gaara was like, he basically repeats what he said in his mind. And she was like, oh, thanks. And there's some other news that I have to address. I'm staying in the Hidden Leaf village. And Gaara was like, wait, what? Like, in the Hidden Leaf village. And she was like, yeah. I have some squad mates here. And I'm gonna say Gaara looks at the tag on her arm. I'm gonna say her tag was on her arm, because I don't know what the other person's tag was, but yeah, or like Mark was. And I'm gonna say Gaara was like, oh, alright. But the Kazekage wasn't floating, because like she just got these new abilities and they can exploit her to the fullest extent. But I'm gonna say Naruto walks in the room and was like, yeah, Kazekage, it's not gonna happen. because she's mine. And I'm gonna say Tamari is taken aback by this, and she's like, wait, what do you mean by yours? And Kazekage was like, yeah, what do you mean by yours? And I'm gonna say Naruto's like, first off, already got an agreement from her parents. But yeah, I don't know who Tamari's parents are and her backstory, so yeah. And I gave her that power. So that power, along with herself, is mine. So, no. And I'm gonna say the Kazekage doesn't want to start a world, like, just doesn't want to start a war over a single person. So he agrees, and Tamari's like, you know, I really want to know what you meant by mine. By, like, I'm yours. And Naruto's like, yeah, you're not gonna find out. I'm gonna say Tamari's like, I can poison you. And Naruto's like, you know, I can just take your entire fucking existence away. Try me. And if y'all wondering, this is basically requiring like a thing that everyone that meets Naruto in Naruto, since Naruto only gets 4, like 3 of the people with this something similar to him. I'm gonna say they only, like, those 4 themselves, they have a weird dynamic of threatening to kill each other every once in a while. So yeah. This is where I'm gonna be ending this part off. I hope y'all enjoyed, and if you did, drop a like. You know, if you enjoy my content, you can subscribe. You know, it's up to you. Join my Discord. I'm actually gonna put my Discord name in my as the pinned comment. Like, you can download Discord. You know, if you don't got the storage to download Discord, it's understandable. You know, you can just put that in the comment below. Like, yo, I don't got enough space to download Discord. I got you. I'm gonna see what I can do on Instagram. But anyway, if you like my stuff, join, like, enjoy. Like, yeah, let me know. Alright, peace out.